All right, hi guys. Hi guys. For those of you who don't know me, most of you do, because I had a lot of you. I'm Mr. Schmitz. I'm the kindergarten through fourth grade science teacher at the lower school. And I, like a lot of you, had a huge fascination with space when I was little. I read books. I used a telescope in my backyard. I visited planetariums, the Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. I ate Astronaut ice cream, the dried stuff, and I slept under glow-in-the-dark stars in my bedroom. As I grew, I loved the Star Wars movies and eventually Carl Sagan's Cosmos, and I've always been curious. It's the immense size of the universe that piques our curiosity, and it makes us feel so tiny at the same time. Yet despite the minuscule bits of space dust that we are, we all have the ability to impact our universe in profound ways. Story Musgrave is a person who's been able to change the way we see the universe just by getting to see it more clearly through the Hubble telescope. But that's only part of his story. One of the things that makes me so proud of all of you here at Le Mans is the Renaissance kids that you are. Everyone here is an intellectual, everyone's an artist, and everyone's an athlete. Story has embodied this mentality through his entire life, and I'm thrilled to have him here to share his experiences with you. You can only imagine how I giggled like a little 8-year-old when I got an email back from a real-life astronaut. So thanks to the LCA for funding this opportunity through our innovation grants. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Story Musgrave.
Find it?
The LCA.
LCA. Okay, LCA. Okay. Yeah, I too want to thank LCA for helping me with this incredible opportunity. So I'm glad to be here at Le Mans. But so Paul spoke about that you're Renaissance kids. That means you're polymaths. It means you're universal people. It means you're mechanical. It means you're digital. You're artists. You're the whole thing. And that's kind of my message today. So I will talk to being in multiple domains and a synergy between different kind of disciplines and living that kind of life. I'm not saying it's better than hyper-specialization, but it is one approach to life. But I'm going to simplify a little bit for you kids, and that is how you design a life for yourself. And so what is it? It's May 18th. What's May 19th for you kids? What's the next step you're going to take? And so life is a set of opportunities. It's a door they're going to open, and I can jump in and go do that. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to take you from farm kid. I'm a farm kid. That's Western Massachusetts. I had 80 head of Guernsey cows. My old house is the Norman Rockwell Museum. Fan of people that go up to Stockbridge, Mass. and visit the place. But I'm going to show you what life is. It's one opportunity after another. What door opens for you? So on May 19th, what opportunity you can jump in and go and live life challenges. That's what life is. It's a whole series of opportunities. You can look upon them like a playing field. You get dropped on a playing field. What are the rules of the game? What skills do I need to get to the finish line? So that's what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to take you, it's on a personal journey. It's my journey. But the lessons, what you want to focus on is the principles. What is going on? So that's it. From farm kid to rocket man and what I do today. So, but there's airplane. That's the airplane that NASA gave me to maintain my skills, to show them I'm a professional, to maintain my aerospace skills. They gave me that airplane. Okay, it's a playing field, folks. What am I going to do with that airplane? It's me in that airplane. How good can I be? How professional can I be? That's what life's all about. It's an opportunity. Me in that airplane. What am I going to do with it? So, we'll move along. That is the posture of exploration. You can laugh if you want. So I want you to be a live crowd, right? So I want you to get live. I want you to get electric, right? Most kids laugh, but I know you're trying to be courteous. Don't be courteous to me. Just have fun, right? So we're going to have fun, okay? We're going to loosen up. We're going to have fun, okay? I know your kids are fun. Now, kids are fun. So I got 7 kids, right? My oldest kid is age 55, and my youngest is 8. I said kid, I didn't say grandkid. I said kid, okay? My oldest 55, youngest is 8. And her name is Little Story. I'm Big Story Musgrave, and she Little Story. So you're going to meet Little Story later on. So we are going to have fun. And fun is incredibly important. If you're not having fun, get another life, okay? Get another life. If you're not having fun, change your life. Fun guarantees that you will do it well. Fun is important. You guarantee to do it well. Okay, second lesson for you is curiosity, awe, and wonder. You take a 3-year-old and you drop them anywhere, they're in the game. They're excited about the total environment. They're excited about life. So don't you kids forget that, all right? Just think about it. You're a 3-year-old and never grow up. Okay, keep going. Curiosity, awe, and wonder. That's what it's all about. So it's about excitement. But for me, born and raised on a farm, I had 500 acres, and I stretched my mom. I kept stretching my mother. How far out can I go at the age of 3 and she won't worry? She'll think you're going to make it back. So I stretched her out in hours. I stretched her into the nighttime. So I'm at age 3 in the pine forest alone at night. What kind of mom you got? There's nothing can hurt you in the pine forest. It's just totally okay. It's comforting. So, but Story Musgrave, born into nature. So that's my first look at life. I'm with Mother Earth. I'm an earthy person. I'm into nature. But we did have a farm. This is 1943. It's a hay baler. You know the hay bales come in there, the bales come out there, the rectangular bales. But in 1943, the baler wouldn't tie the knots. You know, you got a bale of hay, and you got to tie the twine knots. In 1943, it couldn't tie the knots. And so they're creative on the farm, but they can't make the baler tie the knots. But they're creative, so they took an 8-year-old and they sat the 8-year-old here with needle nose pliers to tie knots. That's me. So I'm tying knots on a baler at age 8. You know, square knot and tighten it up and get my hands out before the next cycle would have taken my hands off. So the OSHA would not like any part of this for an 8-year-old, you know, riding a hay baler to tie the knots. But there was no OSHA, we're okay. This is where I got my serious start on the farm, at age 8. So, I'm born into nature, I'm a farm kid. I drove every tractor and truck at the age of 9. So the state police see in a truck going down the road, got 5 tons of hay behind it, but they can't see a head. There's no head in the truck driving itself down the road. So they gotta stop it. And they open the door and they look at me and they say, young man, you cannot be 16. No, sir, I'm 12. You know what the state police do? Be careful, son, and they walk away. Because they know the outcome is going to be all right, but they also know the farm is going to go under. You have to have child labor or the farm is going to go under. You can't afford to keep going. But anyway, my farm, despite my efforts, my farm went under anyway. So I went bankrupt and that was the end of that game. But at age 16, I got into heavy equipment. We were building the Massachusetts Turnpike back then. So I'm a grease monkey at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. is just pump all the grease. Every grease fitting do the oil. Keep that machine running smooth, okay? But I'm a real good mechanic. On the farm at 12 or 13, I learned how to keep stuff going when it's broken. So I learned how to keep it going when I had malfunction, I had brakes. So I became a pretty good mechanic even here with heavy equipment. So that's me right there. Now, 40 years, the important lesson, and this lesson is going to be throughout my presentation. That hand and that ratchet wrench, 40 years later, is going to be 400 miles in the air repairing Hubble Space Telescope. That's a lesson I got for all of you. 40 years later, that hand is going to be up there repairing Hubble Space Telescope. And that's how life goes. You connect the dots to your past. What is your skill set? How good can I be? Because it is going somewhere. You don't think it's going somewhere. It is going somewhere. It's going to repair the telescope. But I never finished high school. So you kids don't follow me there. You finish school. Finish school, because it's going to get rough if you don't. I never finished school. Bus left me at the barn, picked me up at the barn. And so I had no books. All I got is the barn. But anyway, and we finished the turnpike, so I don't have a job. So I got no education. I got a job. I got to do something. So I joined the U.S. Marines. So Korean War was on. I joined the Marines. So that's my next step. See, that's my next opportunity. Where am I going? I got no education, I got no job. Join the Marines. Okay, it's my next step. Now, I do not celebrate war. We got to get over that. I do not celebrate war. That's a human failing we got to get over. I celebrate the military way, though. It's get the job done. It's the spirit of getting the job done. It's technology, it's education, get the job done. So this is me in Korea. So, and you see, it's all manual. This is very primitive kind of stuff. That's what we did. So that's the motor I started looking after. That's 3,000 horsepower. It's a very, very complex motor. But I'm doing heavy work on this motor. Now, of course, what are the Marines going to do with me? I'm going to make me, I'm already a mechanic, right? What are the Marines going to do with this kid? I'm going to make him a mechanic. He's already a mechanic. So I looked after a big motor like that, heavy work, took the cylinders off, valves, all the rest of that kind of stuff. But I advanced very fast in the Marines because of 3 reasons. I'm massively creative on what's broken. I'm massively creative on what I need to do to fix it, but I am not creative when I touch. When you touch that motor of the airplane, it's got to be by the book. exactly the way they taught you by the manual. You don't get creative with airplanes. You do not. You do it according to the book. So I had the creativity on the one hand, I had the discipline on the other. It's called pedigree of process. Engineering is do it right. So I got to do it right. But I was so fast they made me a crew chief. Crew chief means I own my own airplane. I own that airplane. Pilots borrow it from me, but I own it. I live with it, I sleep with it, it's my airplane. It is my airplane. I coordinate all the other specialties, but I look after that machine. I go to the head of it, a green check mark. That my airplane's up, it's ready to go to war. I'm certifying military airplanes to go to war at the age of 18 with one stripe. That's what I'm doing in life. That kid is certifying airplanes to go to war, the totality of that airplane. I'm signing off before I leave there 120 items that says they meet specification. You see how fast I grew up in this world? That's where I'm going. Master mechanic at age 18. So, but that's me in Korea. So that's my field K6. Now you notice I don't have a hangar, I don't have a good toolbox. I got to get the job done with stands. You'll see right out there. I got to get the job. There's something really kind of blurry out in here. I don't know what that is. Judy, is that okay? I see the blurry out in here. But we keep going. So I left K6 Korea. I went on board a carrier, the USS Wasp, and this is the carrier base. Now that's my motor and it's my airplane. So I walked the pilot out, strapped me in, away you go. Now this is before the catapult. You know the catapult in the carriers? The catapult sling you off? No, we don't have the catapult. So that's my motor's got to perform. So there's no catapult, it's just fly it off and hope when you get to the end you got enough energy. So we went in the water too often. When he didn't get enough from the carrier and the wind on board, went in the water, that pilot's going to get out. My brother was on the same carrier, the USS Wasp. He was flying that same AD Skyraider, and he went in the water, but the carrier ran over him. So my brother died doing this kind of stuff. You know, that's who I am. That's the life I've led. I've led this life. I've had demands and challenges on me that are unbelievable at an incredibly young age. That's meeting the world's expectations. You take advantage of opportunity, you jump in, you meet the challenges. What you're doing is meeting the world's expectations. The world asks you to produce something, and that's what you produce. So I ended up on Kaneohe Bay, Oahu, VMA 212, my squadron was here. But I have no education. I can't go anywhere in the Marines, I can't go anywhere, so stick with that education. So I mustered out of the Marines. This is Oakland Bay Bridge. That's Treasure Island. I mustered out there. Well, I'm trying to go to college, and no college will take me because I didn't even finish. I didn't even finish high school. But, you know, I applied to college. They wouldn't take me. But I knock on the door. I go anyway. The day of admissions, I go. I knock on the dean's door, said, I'm here. I'm ready to go to work. I know someone didn't show up. You know, there's an empty chair in the classroom, and there's an empty bed in the dorm. I'm here. I'll help. You know, I'm here. I want to work. Well, the first two places didn't take me. Syracuse did. Now, so Syracuse University up the road from here, they ended up taking me. But I had a younger brother, too. He never finished school. He went off to the Marines. He got out of the Marines, didn't know what to do. I said, try Syracuse. Oh, of course. So Syracuse, come on. We know what that result will be. And I got a 28-year-old today. He did really stupid things in May, his graduation year. So he got thrown out of school. Well, where do I go, Dad? Try Syracuse. So they took him. Of course, Syracuse is going to take all the Musgraves. It's what, you know, that's the way it goes. Okay. So I got an 8-year-old. Maybe she ended up there too. So you're going to meet a little story later on. But that's a very messy slide. But I've been trying to survive my life, see. And this is a lesson for every one of you. Whatever you want to do in life, you've got to deal with all the factors. Whatever you want to do, there's an interrelationship between the people and every element. And so you look at all the stupid details you got to deal with to get to the finish line. Whatever you do in life, it's a complex process. It's an interaction of people and things to get to that finish line. So I brought that to the university, but I found out there was a mathematics that would deal with that, if you can quantitate. So I got into multivariate calculus and multivariate statistics, and I've been doing this. I've been doing that thinking ever since then. So ever since 1956, I've been doing that life. I've been looking at all the details I got to get a hold of. So you carry forward in life everything you've ever done. You don't forget what you did. Well, I love the university just fine, but I miss my Marine Corps ways, the spirit of getting the job done, the discipline. So I joined the Marine Corps Active Reserve. at Syracuse. And so they didn't have airplanes for me, but I had tanks. So I drove tanks. Going through college, I'll drive anything, you know. So a tank, it doesn't fly, but you know what it does have? It's got an 810 horsepower V12. You know, 810 horsepower V12, that's a nice motor. I got a motor. I'm going to drive the motor. Who is Story Musgrave? You find out who I am? I'm a product of child labor, a teenage Marine. Never forgot that. That's what I do in life. It's where I got to where I got. Yes, I got 7 graduate degrees. That's part of the equation, but it's not the whole equation. This is part of it too. So that's the other thing I drove going to school. You know, I'm into heavy equipment. I'm a farm kid. I do this kind of stuff. So the sunshine, fresh air. I like equipment. I like dirt. But I paid for a lot of college. I paid for a lot of college. Now, the other thing I drove going to college, I drove this one here, too, going to college. So you like that. You're supposed to like my tanks better. You know why I got this? I'm making so much money, I got to spend it on something. I have to spend the money on something. So what do you think Story Musgrave is going to spend the money on? I just locked out. It was 58, most beautiful Corvette in history. And what's all this money stuff? You remember the stupid hay bales? When I'm 50 pounds, I'm throwing a 50-pound hay bale in the wagon. I got to load all the hay bales too. So the hay is mean, you know, it's sharp, it eats into you. But anyway, I started throwing hay bales. Man, what is this hay bale stuff? Where are we going in life? Freshman in high school, I took up wrestling. The rest of the kids take up weightlifting to get strong. I got 5 years ahead of them, and they're not going to catch me. I was undefeated in wrestling for 4 years because I threw hay bales. You kids getting the message? You connect the dots to your past and you say, what are my strengths and where am I going with the hay bales? And, well, that's not important. When I got to Syracuse, freshman, they got a wrestling team. I made the varsity wrestling team as soon as I got there. Okay, and they had a scholarship. So Syracuse paying for all the college, room, board, and tuition. Okay. Well, remember the GI Bill from the Marines in Korea? Well, they paid for everything too, and they don't talk to each other. I get the whole thing from the Marines. I get the whole thing from Syracuse. I drove tanks and I drove bulldozers. I'm making 4 times as much money as I need to go to college. Now, you see how life works, kids? You see how life, you just keep going forward. Connecting the dots to your past. Where am I going with this? And so, and I also took up flying. That's my Cessna 172. That's my Beechcraft teacher. I don't know where this is going. There is no space program. You say, no, there's no, in the 1930s, there was no space program. You're preparing for unknown that you don't know. It doesn't exist. Where you kids are going to end up does not exist today. Does not exist. There's new technology, new stuff. Probably the next big era will be the age of biology. Okay, flying. I took up sailplanes, soaring, that kind of stuff. I did air shows. This is incredibly rough stuff. Man, it's discipline. The only thing you do at air shows is the checklist you got right here. It's tough on the body, tough on the mind. But I'm making money doing that. So I don't know where this is going in that world there. I went to work for Eastman Kodak as a mathematician, converting business problems to mathematics. I check my time now and then. I got to finish over. Good to finish at 9:45. I went to UCLA because they had the biggest computer in the world, IBM 709 vacuum tube processor. But he also had operations research, by dealing with all these variables. So that's the way he deal. It's systems engineering, except it had a different name back then. So I went to UCLA. I knock on this door. I want to work here. That's why I came here. Who are you? I'm a graduate student. We don't have those in here. But you don't understand. I drive tanks. I'm a product of child labor. I fly airplanes. I will figure this place out. And I could. I'm radically pragmatic. I'll figure anything out. I don't know anything about this world, but neither do they. It's brand new. So you know what I said? They didn't want to take me. I said, I'll work for nothing. You're hired. So when you run into a roadblock and you can't get somewhere, you say, I'll work for nothing. At least for 1 month. Then you're on salary because you show them how good you are. You see how life goes? I'll work for nothing. That's how you go through life. I'll work for nothing. So I was a Fortran programmer, compiler, and assembler on the biggest computer in the world, donated by IBM. So there you go. Operations research, systems engineering, I'm on the way. But my goodness, I got interested from computers and how the brain works. So a computer works this way. How's this thing work? So I said, Story, you ought to leave that one alone, man. Just stick with your computers. You're on the ground floor of a great field. No, I need to know how this works. And I'm going to take the brain and the computers and put the two together so they'll play together. But this is back in 1958. I'm thinking this way now. This is what we do today in 2015, as you're going to see. But I got interested in the brain, how it's going to work. So, oh my goodness, that's called a fork in the road. So it's forks in the road, kids, and you're going to take those. You follow your heart. So where you going on May 19th is that intersection between your talents, your experiences, and your passion is number one. What you excited about, okay? You follow the heart. That's where you're going live. Because your heart means you're going to be that good. You got the energy to go do things. So it's a fork in the road. I'm heading for the brain. Oh, you like blood? I saw someone, he likes blood. He's clapping. So you like blood? Okay. Is that cool? So that's working on the brain. You think that's awesome. Now I'm leaving the PowerPoint here, so y'all can have this PowerPoint, okay? I'm going to leave you a PowerPoint. So you go to Story Musgrave at hotmail.com. You say, send Lamont PowerPoint. I'll send you this PowerPoint. Yeah, you got that's a real brain you're looking at there. But, okay, I am off to pre-med, which I don't have, and I go to Columbia. You know, right up the river? It's Columbia Medical School, an incredibly good school. So I'm at Columbia Medical School. I'm after the brain at this point here. But I'm walking to class the first week, and I say, here's a neurosurgical research lab in the door. I knock on the door, and I say, oh, I want to work here. Who are you? I'm a freshman medical student. We don't have those people in here. I'll work for nothing. You're hired. You know? And this guy, the guy I'm talking to, he ended up being the dean at Einstein Medical School for 25 years. Now I'm Pepper, an incredible mentor. I jump in there and I go to work. I am radically pragmatic at this point. I've had to survive on a farm, survive in the Marines. I drive tanks, I fix everything. Plus, I got the computers and I got the math. At age 25, I am not stoppable. You cannot stop Story Musgrave at the age of 25. I've built a skill set that I can go wherever I want to go. Do you kids see the path? Do you see the path we took now? So that path is what's lying. That's what's May 19th for you kids. And every one of these things is one little step that I took that you all can take. That's what life's all about. So, but I did figure it out, and I published very significant papers as a freshman medical student. As a sophomore medical student, I got accepted for neurosurgery residency at Columbia. As a sophomore, because I can figure stuff out. I've learned how to figure stuff out. So we're doing the brain. Now I took this up, going to medical school too. Don't know why I like to fly and I like to fall. So I took this up, free-fall parachuting, Lakewood Sport Parachuting Center. But what does this mean? It's another playing field to get it right the first time and right every time, kids. It's a playing field to get it right. So what's the industry standard? How do you be good at something? You must be good at this or you got a bad outcome, okay? So you'll learn how to be good at something. It's called excellence. So yes, I know, no stories to tell you. So I'm in my training now, my internship residency to do neurosurgery and neurophysiology. I think that's where we're going, but space happens. Oh dear, space happens, and I read in Science Magazine, National Academy of Science, and NASA are going to fly scientists in space. And I said they wouldn't do that. They couldn't possibly do that. But it says they plan to. Oh my goodness, man, it's another fork in the road, right? Where are we going now? It's another fork in the road. So we leave our clinical training, and we leave after the end of the year. We tell them we won't be back, and it's called postdoc fellowship. So there's aerospace physiology, and the physiology is going to be very important. The physiology is massively important in the life that I have today, as you're going to find out. It's called digital futures. We are no longer going to project things on a wall. We're going right into the head with our projection now, as you're going to see. With a company I work for called Magic Leap. Physiology is important today. So I hope you're following the path. So I joined NASA during Apollo days. Now, my surgery boss, who I was doing my residency with, he is wildly excited about what I do in life. I'm so radically pragmatic. I just learn stuff and I get a hold of stuff. He moved to Denver, Colorado, and he wants me there with him. Story, if you'll give me 3 days a month, I will turn you into a trauma surgeon. I was a trauma surgeon. Well, that's a great field because if it's a NASA model better, if someone gets hurt out there, and I can bring my aerospace discipline to trauma surgery easier than I can neurosurgery or other disciplines. Okay, I'm a trauma surgeon now, so you go do that. Yes, I gave him 3 days a month for 26 years. He turned me into a trauma surgeon within 1 year. So I did trauma surgery as an astronaut now for 26 years. I did that for. So we move along. It's life, right? NASA sent me to the Air Force. They want me to get my military wings. They want me to get jets. I'm a very experienced propeller pilot, but I don't have jets. They want me to get the jets. They want me to get the Air Force. Okay, it's another playing field. It's me and the Air Force. And I'm a Marine, right? That's okay. I love the Air Force. I'm going to do the Air Force way. I will learn the Marine way. I'll learn the Air Force way. Today I do safety programs for the Coast Guard and for the Navy. So who is Dory Musgrave? I'm Marine, I'm Air Force, I'm Coast Guard, I'm Navy. What do you want? It's an opportunity. The door opens. I'm going to learn the Air Force way. Okay? Any one of you kids can join the Air Force. You can do Air Force Art. You can do whatever you want. ROTC, whatever you want. You want to join the Air Force? You kids can join the Air Force if that fits your path. So here's some of the airplanes I did with the Air Force. And that's the Northrop T-38. It's 55 years old in this picture. When I came back to NASA, they had the same airplane. So it was an easy transition from the Air Force when I came back from their training, got my wings, back into there. Well, NASA had half a squadron of these and half a squadron of those. So you want to fly that, you want to fly this. Well, where do I spend my time? None of the astronauts are flying this one. That's the one I wanted to fly because I know it's going to go away. I want the airplane to teach me something. I do not just want to be, that's a T-38 pilot, okay? The airplane teaches you something. You get on that playing field, learn the rules of the game, you be the best you can. Okay? But I want this game. It's going to go away. And I want to be T-33 too. I'll be a T-33 pilot and a T-38 pilot. I'll be whatever you want. You see how life goes? So the opportunity arises. That's an opportunity. That airplane teaches you different stuff. So, and I carried a camera. I don't know why. It's value added. These airplanes deserve to have a camera. Beautiful airplanes are going to take me to great places. So what do? And I was a maintenance test pilot on this T-38. A maintenance test pilot is one of the heavy maintenance on an airplane. That's pieces all over the hangar. They put it back together and I fly to see that it works. So that's the job I got. So heavy maintenance, you don't know how the machine is going to do. I became the maintenance test pilot. How did I get a job? Because I was a U.S. Marine certified airplane mechanic. So with NASA, I get the job of being the maintenance test pilot because I understand maintenance and I understand airplanes. I get the job because I was an enlisted Marine. The only astronaut in history that was a certified airplane mechanic. You see how life goes? You think the enlisted Marine ain't going anywhere, it's going here. So that's a lesson I got for you. You just keep rolling and you'll use everything you got. You will use it. Now I know I'm doing a book. I'm going to do a book on this airplane now. So I had the mechanics put my airplanes here. See, I want to get pictures of my beautiful T-38. So I got a launch pad right here. So you see, I positioned them here so I get a picture of launch. I don't want the launch. It's not the launch, it's the airplane. I'm doing a book on this airplane. But look at the plume. Can you believe that a rocket plume did this? I got T-38s leaving at sunset and the rocket plume there. What's the lesson? Get on a playing field and get ready. I did not know this was going to happen. I was there and I had my camera. And so I'm the only one got the pictures. Okay, kids, that's the lesson. Get ready, life's going to happen. The unknown going to happen. Unknown is going to happen. And if you're ready, you'll catch it. That's it. So look at this gorgeous stuff. The most beautiful rainbow I ever saw in my life. Ellenfield used to, it's Sunday. That's why no one's there. But I was there and had a camera, okay? Nobody got the rain. There's nobody got a picture of this rainbow surrounding the T-38. I was there and I had a camera. Kids, get on your playing field and get ready. Because the unknown is going to happen and life is an unknown. So that's the book I ended up doing. After shooting that thing for 45 years, did a book on this gorgeous airplane. I didn't know where it was going, but after thousands of photos, I knew then. So I did join. I trained on Apollo. That's me in Apollo days, going to the Skylab program. And up Moon, Von Braun took us there, incredibly creative, and we did a Skylab. So our very first space station, the meteoroid shield tore off, a solar panel tore off, and the way we had to fix that was spacewalks. So I won't spend any more time on that. So I trained as a backup crew member for the very first Skylab, but I helped design that. So before Apollo now, I helped design. I helped the project management. I helped build this program. So I helped build. I did not fly on Apollo, but I helped to build Apollo, to design it, to look at the spacewalk and coming out of the lunar module. I helped to build Skylab, a backup crew member in the first one, onto the shuttle program. Well, I had to build the shuttle program. So we started on the shuttle program in 1969. I ended up flying it 14 years after starting to build. So I flew on this shuttle in 1983. I started in it on 69 after we landed on the moon. Now that's the first Challenger, so I was on Challenger's first flight. That's the crew, that's the official NASA crew on Challenger's first flight, which I was on. But I'm creative, so I think we could do a better job than this picture, so I came up with this one here. So that's Challenger's first crew. Now, I had helped design the spacesuit that we use in the shuttle program, the same spacesuit we use in the International Space Station. I helped design that. As a physiologist and a physician, I understand the ergonomics and the physiology of work. So I took my physiology world and I took it into the design of spacesuits. Because I had designed the thing for 12 years, I got to be the first person to go outside and do the first shuttle spacewalk and test this suit and a life support system on the back. It's the way life goes. You work as a designer. So I'm a project manager and a designer. You say, well, you're an astronaut, you go fly. Yes, I go fly after 14 years of work. So you see, but you're going to see where this goes. Now, that was Space Telescope in 1975. We're going to put a big telescope in space, Story, and you look after this machine. You're going to be the doctor on the telescope. You identify every failure that machine can get into, and you come up with a spacewalk and tools and procedures to fix it. I got a job to look after Hubble. So I've been on Hubble for 35 years now. That's how long I've been on this machine. But in 75, you look after that machine. You identify every failure it can get into, and you design it. I designed Hubble. I didn't just fix it, I designed it. How do you work on it in a spacesuit? I also designed all the procedures, 12,000 pages of procedures and tools to look after the machine. You know I got a job? Because I'm a farm kid. Because I'm an enlisted Marine Corps mechanic. Because I'm a tank mechanic. And you say that stuff isn't going anywhere. That's a lesson I got for you. I got the job to be a lead mechanic and designer of Hubble telescope because I got the background that no one else got. That's a lesson for you. So what are you going to do on May 19th? I got to fix it looking like this, the suit that I helped design. Very bulky, not got the same body you got, but I have to design for this. So I designed the telescope, I designed the tools, all the tools are going to work, so that's it. That's the artist concept. And I have no drawings and I have no telescope to practice on. So I did artist concepts. And here, I'm trying to get physicality. I'm trying to get prototypes on how I'm going to work on this machine. So I came up with a balloon. That's a balloon telescope. And it's a high-fidelity robotic arm. And here's all my stupid styrofoam instruments. I want to get physical to check out my procedures. I have nothing physical to practice on. So it's a great arm, but it's not certified for people. So that's a balloon story. So I came up with a balloon telescope, and that's a balloon story Musgrave. So you take the balloon around, and you go to all the different places how you might work on a telescope. And so now underwater is not a great simulation, but it gives you the freedom. It's like the freedom of somewhat of the free fall to zero-G condition. The important thing about water is when I put some force on something, that same force coming back to me. It's action and reaction. So I'm trying to work on something, I do this, I'm going to move. If I put a power tool on something and I don't tie myself down, I'll spin on a wrench. So it's action and reaction. So that's what the water gives you. But along the years, we exercised all my procedures in a water tank. That's the real Hubble now at Kennedy Space Center getting ready to get launched. I was in mission control when we launched it. This is 25 years ago now. This picture was 25 years ago, 2 weeks ago, April 24th. April 24th, we let the Hubble go. So I'll tell you later on about celebrating 25th anniversary of that machine, the most powerful scientific instrument in history. That's what you're looking at. But within months, we had to confess that we put the wrong mirror in the telescope. Yes, we put the wrong mirror in the telescope. It was a great mirror, but it was the wrong one, so that didn't work. If you go to the internet, Hubble Mirror Action Report, you'll find out a PDF on how not to live life. It's terrible negligence. But anyway, I did not plan on their putting the wrong mirror in the telescope. I could have had one of my failure items that says NASA put wrong mirror in telescope. I wasn't cynical enough yet, but I should have been. So I had to cover that too. So now I got a mission. I have to design a mission. Before, I focused on every possible failure, but now I got 13 systems that are broke. Hubble got 13 systems. You know when you buy a new car and you're heading home and it breaks before you get home? It's not because it wore out. It's because it's a lemon. So I got a lemon on my hands. I got 13 major systems that broke right off the bat. So I got to design a mission. 5 spacewalks. How am I going to fix 13 different systems? So this is it, folks. It's focus and concentration. This is it in a moment. Whatever you do in life, that's the face. That's the face you got to have. That's your face when you go do things. So we do develop underwater. We train underwater, but it's not a great simulation, you know. In space, my suit floats and I float inside my suit. Everything floats, but not true in the water. If I go upside down in the water, I'm carrying them away on my shoulders. So the suit does not work in the water the way it's going to work in space. But the action and reaction, when I create a force, that force comes back to me. I got to tie myself down. That is true. And the basic geometry and stuff. But I always ask the divers, if they see the divers here, safety divers, this is me. If I see the safety divers, I say, you see a better way for me to work. You show me how you would do it. I was a lead spacewalker for NASA for 25 years, and I'm asking divers to show me how to do my work, yes. You empower people around you to speak up. If they speak up, challenges don't happen. So I did the same thing as surgery. Before I get started, I say, anyone in this room that's uncomfortable with what we're doing, you tell me you're uncomfortable. You tell me you're not comfortable. Whatever you do, I'm not talking surgery and I'm not talking spaceflight. I'm saying whatever you do in life, you ask the whole team, are you happy with what we're doing here today? And if someone's not happy, find out what they're not happy about and fix it. So, you know, I got an operating room nurse. She's been on the job for 30 years. She's seen what I'm doing in the hands of 100 different surgeons. You do know most of the time in the operating room nurse knows more than the surgeon. So you got a source of incredible information. That's what life's all about. So she will help you. Give her a chance. She'll help you. Now that's the Smithsonian Museum. I check my time again, so I'll finish on time, which I will. That's the Smithsonian Museum. Now the Hubble's up there. I am worried about the mock-ups they're giving me. Are they exact measurements, the right kind of measurements? But this engineering qualification unit, which you may have seen in the Smithsonian, is guaranteed to have same measurements. So I am going to install that instrument on the real Hubble up there, but I'll take it to the Smithsonian and to see that it fits. It's called details, folks. You have those details, so there you go. Okay, we've done the training, gotten ready to do the mission. This is us. This is the Hubble crew you're looking at. I'm still taking pictures. So we're going to go fly this thing. That's a nice bird's eye view of the launch pad you see right there. I'm going to stack that vehicle up. So this is gorgeous. Spaceflight is just beautiful stuff, you know. So it's a nice sunset there. And that's Troy. Troy he strapped me in Apollo. He strapped me in the Skylab. He strapped me in endless shuttles, vacuum chambers, water tanks. He looks after my suit. He looks after the helmet, the gloves, and the whole thing. He and I went together on a journey. For over 30 years, Troy and me went together. So that's 2 professionals. That's it. It's a playing field being the best you can. Now, so I like this picture on launch. It's just immersed in nature, you see, just plain old nature. Now, that's a nice one, too. So we're in space, we go get Hubble. I saw Hubble 6,000 miles away. So the moment of truth. I've been at Hubble for 18 years now. And it's the moment of truth. How's it going to go? What are we going to do? I got in the back of the bus. I got in the back of the shuttle here. I'm going to work. So this is after 18 years that I've been working on Hubble. I'm about to go out the door and try to fix 13 broken systems. And I got to put up with this. Yes, we had the wrong mirror in the telescope, but the other 13 things shouldn't have broke. So it's an embarrassment. It's an unbelievable embarrassment, the whole thing. So you say, have I got pressure? No, I don't have pressure. Don't got no pressure at all. I'm happy with the plan. I'm going to go execute the plan, that's all. So I trained with Dorothy Hamill, Olympic figure skating champion, how you do spacewalks. You say, what is it? Figure skating. Dorothy knows what she's good at. She knows what she's not good at. And she knows what's worked in the past, and she starts choreographing a plan. And she converges until she got a final solution. And she repetitively practices that till when the music starts, she wins the gold. You think there's any difference between that and me and my body and my tools? It is my body and my tools going to work on Hubble. It's called a dance. The relationship then between athletics and doing a spacewalk is the same. Yeah, so that's a lady today. But also going to hug this horse secretary at Claymore Farmers Parish, Kentucky. So, you know, they got to know me there, but before I leave, I said, sir, it's for you that I live. It's for you that I go forward. We're not talking space flight. We're not talking Hubble. We're not talking horse race. Kids, this is what you sign up for. That's how good you want to be. It's not what. It's you say, that's me. That's what you do. That's me. That's what you go for. So after 18 years out there working, here's a real team, Mission Control. I love and adore them. I want to help. I want them up there with me. And that's the box I put in to correct for the wrong mirror in the telescope. That's the big camera, 800-pound camera. That's the one that brings you the pictures from Hubble. New solar arrays. That solar array, the new one, wouldn't come down. That's my stupid little ratchet wrench. Yeah, like that. Just like back there in construction equipment. Went to close these doors, they wouldn't close. I closed them okay, but this is down here. That part of the latch is down there, this part is up here. So I couldn't latch them. I thought, that's really funny. But I saw the scars off the screen down here. I got back in the ground and says, what's with the doors, guys? They said we couldn't close them on the ground either. Well, you need to tell me about that. You know, if you're having a problem, I need to know about that. So they had an alignment rig. But anyway, I had come-alongs. Come-alongs is straps and thing. That's where you attach things to the back of your truck to hold a payload on your truck. So I had a couple of those on the shuttle, closed shuttle doors. I took care of that one. So this is 23 years ago now. Hubble was totally restored in 1993. Totally up. That was 23 years ago. I did that mission. So my baby's gone, and it's melancholy sadness. Talking to President Clinton, it's melancholy sadness. I don't come for the victory, folks. You don't come for the victory, you don't come for the defeat. It's the journey. You go through life. What's May 19th? What's the next mountain you're going to climb? That's what it's all about. So it's what is the journey? I take a quick look at these incredible sunsets. And here's Italy. A quick look out the window before we come home. Sicily, the total heel, Italy. And so Spain, the Greek islands there. This is what the aurora looks like. So you almost fly. This is what it looks like out the window. I have a whole program on Mother Earth and space about we want a different mission here today. This is going into Florida, home sweet home. Think about the people who did it right, took in the journey. And so how's Hubble doing? That's Galaxy M100. That's before I fixed it, and that's after I fixed it, right there. The problem was the mirror was a bright object would get spread out like this. That spherical aberration, that's the wrong mirror. That should be a bright star. After I fixed it, the bright star looked like that. So it did get fixed. Okay, and the shuttle program ended up here, and I'm going to show you the Enterprise. I have these photographic sequences of every shuttle where it went into different places, but I think the Enterprise coming in here to the Intrepid is the most beautiful scene that I have. So we, of course, you know Manhattan, we sitting right down here, but here's the Enterprise coming in. So you know, of course, Central Park and the Pan Am building. Pan Am was an aviation company, so that's aviation. Probably the connection is going to end up on the Intrepid. A lot of you been to the Intrepid Museum? Okay, well, there she sits. And have you seen the Enterprise? Okay. Well, so you know the journey. You know where it's going to end up. We landed JFK out there, and we destack it with the cranes, and we load it onto a barge, and here we go. The Rensselaer Bridge, you well know, and it's going on a barge up the Hudson. And this is an outrageous picture. Y'all just look out the window of the Statue of Liberty. Here's the Enterprise going by, Statue of Liberty. And these are spectacular photographs. Now, none of these, I haven't messed with any of these photographs. I haven't messed with any of them. So Photoshop and stuff, but I'm going to mess with this one next time. I'm going to put George Washington on the boat. George Washington will be sitting on a boat here. Now, so, you know, here you are. Now, that's without the window. So you're looking, that's out the window. That's World Trade Center. That's going in. I think that, what's that World Trade Center? Is that number 2? It's 1, okay. So, you know, that's where you are. You're right over here. So all the people watching it go by. It's funny when you take a picture of Manhattan Street and you see the Enterprise going by, and here she is. And that's just great stuff. She's going to go into the Enterprise right here. Here's the crane. There's the crane going by. So that is the same crane that picked up Miracle of Hudson, U.S. Airways, I think. And this is a wonderful view from over in New Jersey of what's going on. And there's the Intrepid there. Now, so that's it. She's berthed on the Intrepid. So, and that's the shuttle picture. Now back to the lessons. 15 minutes, I'll be done. So, I did train on Apollo. I understood Apollo. I trained on the LEMS. And I helped design Apollo. I designed and did project management on the Skylab program. I did project management and helped design the shuttle. I designed the space suits, and that's it. I spent a whole bunch of years designing Hubble Space Telescope, designing the machine itself, the serviceability and maintainability part of it. So, you know, I'm a professor of design at Art Center College for Design these days. I teach professional and personal development. I teach aircraft design, landscape design. So, I'm a professor of design. And you say, what's astronaut got to do with the design? Well, I spent over 30 years as an astronaut. But if you apportion that out, I spent 10 years as a flyer, and I spent 20 years as a project manager and designer. So who am I? You take a hard look, I'm not just a flyer. I'm a designer project manager. And so it makes perfect sense that today I harness all the design that I did for decades, and I'm a professor of design at Art Center College of Design, which is the #1 design school in the whole world. So that's what I do there. Now, this is Disney, and that's a mission space there. So for 6 years, I was a designer and project manager for Disney Imagineering. Of course. You look at my background, you don't think I could design ride systems for Walt Disney? I got all the mechanics, I got the design, I got the project manager. You see how life goes, kids? That's the way life goes. So the opportunities are before you. Whatever you want to do. I've designed Orion. I participated in the initial requirements on Orion, the next spaceship, and a lunar lander when we had a constellation program. With a company called Applied Minds, I designed that. Now, so we're back to this kid again. So this kid is a nature kid, right? It's a dirt kid. It's an earth kid. And so we did the hay balers and we did the farm. We did all the dirt and the machinery and stuff. Okay, so today, of course, I am a landscape architect. I design landscapes. I contract and I engineer them. I build homes. And so I helped build that home. I dug this lake. Every single palm tree I grow from seeds. So I design landscapes. I take 5-acre parcels in Florida of raw land and I build home sites for people. Do you see how life goes? I'm a farm kid, I'm a mechanic, I do machinery, I end up here. Didn't plan on ending up here. That is the kind of landscape that I produce. That is a Story Musgrave landscape. I dug the lake, every palm tree I grew from seeds, I created the whole thing. That is your front yard. But the lesson is, I'm connecting the dots to my past. And that's a look at the same house, but it's a different view. Now today, as part of my landscaping operation, I drive the same tractor I drove when I was 9 years old. It's not the identical one, but it's a Farmall M, so I'm doing that too. Now that's a little story. Little story, she's 2 weeks old. She's been riding this machinery since 2 weeks. So when you take a little kid, you say, what experiences do you want to give them? It's the same as what's going on in your education. What experiences do you give yourself, you know, for the path you are going to take into your future? So that's a little story. Now, when she got to be 2 months, I took her car seat out of the car, and I would strap it to the hoods of all my equipment. So little story, at 2 months would ride up here. She'd ride up there, and she's learning the engineering, see, and her body's getting rocked. She's learning the engineering and the mathematics. She learned the equipment. Little story is, now this is serious stuff. It's not just video games. Life is not just video games. And so, and you are Renaissance people, university, or polymath. Now, why no pictures? Because Mom is not that tolerant of this whole situation. Mom says, what you're doing is not normal, and it should not be on the internet. So, okay, now don't do the pictures, so they won't be on the internet. I have the pictures, but not here. And so, of course, I operate this equipment as a military dump truck. I maintain my own equipment. I do all that. I do it today. Because you know who I am. I'm heavy equipment, a farm kid. I know how to do that stuff. Now, so a little story. Now, so she turned 9 last week. So that's the little story. She's driving 3 tractors today. That tractor's got 9 gears ahead, 3 in reverse. She knows how to do all that stuff. So she rolls all the grass that I produce. So little story is driving tractors. But so she's a mechanical kid. She is mechanical. She's also digital. She's also art. She's the whole thing. So you look at a kid, you know, what experiences do you want to give yourself to propel yourself into May 19th? So that's what you're about. What do you all want to do? Because it'll make a matter in your future. Well, it's not all work for Little Story. So Little Story, she plays too. So that's her ATV. She got incredible judgment. And people objected to bare feet. I can't keep shoes on this little girl. You can't keep shoes on the little girl. She drops them off everywhere and I lose all the shoes. So anyway, so that's that business there. And she's a mud girl. She's a dirt girl. She loves the slime and all the wigglies and the ponds. And she's into that. When it's her turn to look after Mother Earth, she will. And that's 0G. She gets with 0G at an early age. Of course, she's an artist. She does all these things. Now, into the computer world, you remember my computer world, and you remember how it moved to the brain. Now, so you like the blood. You like the blood. So you all heading for medicine, right? You blood people. But Intel asked me 7 years ago to come and tell them what the future of the world was. That's Intel asking Story Musgrave to tell them the future of the world. I said, man, I can't do that. What is the future of the world? Well, you know what I did? I thought, hey, I'll go 50 years earlier. I'll go 50 years earlier. I'm UCLA, I'm doing computers, and I go to the nervous system. Okay, it's computers and the nervous system. So for Intel, because I'm a little scared of giving them a presentation of future of the world, I painted my PowerPoint. So this is my painting. I paint too. And so this is what happens. Supernova events create the big molecules necessary for life. All of you kids, this is your world, and it's the world every one of you is living in today. The world becomes more and more complex. Those are integrated circuits. That's your silicon world. That's your biological world. And they got tighter and tighter connections between the two. That is what is happening. And I think on every planet is conducive to life, the same silicon world is happening too. So Mother Earth and this incredible planet is becoming more and more complex. The silicon world, bigger and more complex and tighter connections between the two. But the lesson is, Intel asked me to come and show them the future of the world. This is what I painted for them. But I went 50 years earlier in my life when I'm working with a brain and I'm working with computers. So, today I work for a company called Magic Leap. They must have seen or heard something about me, so they came after me. So I'm a scientific advisor for them and I'm on their board. And so, under NDA, that means I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it, but John Markoff, the New York Times, he wrote in the New York Times that when he went to them, that they had bundles of micro-sized optical projectors, and that they were projecting stuff directly into his retina. That's the way they were achieving things. And if you read on Gizmodo, Magic Leap, you can find out more about them. They can take an object like this and they put it there. The object is not projected anywhere. This object, which is a virtual reality object, is sitting right here in front of your face. When you move your head, it doesn't change. When you move your eyes, it doesn't change. And the object's there. You can walk all the way around the object in this room and it stays there. The object is virtual because it doesn't exist. But there is an augmented real world because you got a real head, you got real eyes, and you're in a real environment. So that's called augmented reality. And then you can modify that, so it's a modified reality, and you've got the reality itself. This is what I call digital futures. General Electric had me come to them last week and give them presentations on digital futures. Okay, it goes back to nerve and the brain. Well, one of our prime competitors in Magic Leap was Oculus. They're into this kind of business. You know Oculus, sir? Well, you know Facebook paid $2 billion for them. We were competing with Microsoft HoloLens, although we don't do holography here, but we were competing maybe with Google Glass. But Google took care of that competition, so we Magic Leap 50 people, Google threw $540 million at us. So Google thinks this, my company, is the future of the digital world. So that's how you go, right? You see the connection, kids? That's the way it goes. It started 50 years ago. And so, like I said, I presented the digital futures to GE. I do ExxonMobil on how you improve your drilling platforms, all that kind of stuff. So I give presentations to schools, universities, and to corporations. So, now the spacewalking world, you know, this is fixing Hubble like that. We had our 25th anniversary on April 24th. So I went to the National Air and Space Museum. I had a celebration there. I went to the Hubble Space Telescope Science Institute. And there, I met up with the people that had to make a tough decision as to what's wrong with the telescope, and then we put the wrong mirror into it. I met up with the people that came up with a fix. What are we going to do about this 25th anniversary end? I sat down and had dinner with the Nobel Prize winners that won the Nobel Prize because of the data they got from Hubble. Okay, so that's the end of my story there. The Nobel Prize winners. So, Walter Cronkite, a very well-known Apollo and space reporter. Story, what do you say about the journey? Well, you know the journey. It's three things. I am privileged to have the opportunities I had. All the playing fields. Life opened up. I was allowed to keep going in my life. Secondly, I was allowed to finish the job. I could have been stopped. You know, it's a sense of humility. I could have been stopped. Destiny and the fates let Story Musgrave keep going. I could have got up there with a telescope and run into a technical problem that I could not get around. It did not happen. So there's luck, too, in life. And thirdly, it is not over. So who are we? What is the big picture to always remember about who we are? So that's a wonderful backlit picture of Saturn. The sun behind creates a strange geometry, but we're trying to take a picture of Saturn. We got Mother Earth. That's who we are. That is Mother Earth. The Voyagers have been out there for 35 years. This is a picture of you and I from 3.7 billion miles. That's who we are. We're on this little journey together. So, thirdly, it is not over. The space flight is the quest for the universe. It's the quest for who we are, the meaning and hope of the life that we got here on Earth. So, kids, with your feet solidly on your home planet, Mother Earth, your head and heart in heavens, I wish you well on the journey that lies before you. Calm seas and favorable winds, and remember, you do it simply because the opportunity is presenting itself to you. Good luck on the journey, folks.